insane. You keep it so loud that we speaking your refrain. Adam Story's got a point if you let him explain. Here's the pun of all puns, get a pun with Papa Wayne. Rum tapping the vein, 9 minutes bringing pain. MHOG secreting, leaving a stain. You ain't as dope as us, bitch. Stay in your lane.
Yeah, and we're back. Welcome to the MHOG podcast. I am not Adam. I mean, wait, no, I am Adam. What am I saying? I'm not Wayne. It's great. It's a great start to this episode. Great start. And it's going to be a weird episode. I'm Adam. Wayne's not here. Rum's not here. Kyle's not here. I think Kyle's in Houston. Wayne has been moving. So this episode and the next episode are going to be a little odd. I'll discuss the next episode when it happens. You don't need to know about that right now. What you do need to know about is that I do have a guest host for the next, well, technically for the next hour. We'll get into why later, but let me introduce Mr. Hunter. All right. I'm going to do this. I should have mentioned this before. What the hell is your last name?
Fagan. Fagan.
That's your actual last name?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. At one point, did it say Hunter Smith on your Facebook, or am I insane?
I don't think so on my Facebook. My Skype is like Smitherson or something like that.
Maybe that's where I got it from, because I have this horrible tendency to forget people's names. And so for as long as I've known you or been listening to, by the way, he's a host of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast.
Ew.
Which I don't know if I've mentioned it on MHOG. I do mention it on my other projects, but I keep wanting to call you Hunter Smith, and I think I did it on that episode of Radio DCP that you did, and I assume it was because somewhere it said Hunter Smith. Either that or I'm a huge asshole and I've been getting your name wrong the whole time. But okay, so your name actually is Hunter Fagan.
That is correct. Yes. Okay,
because Fagan, as I recall, is actually a theatrical or a name from a novel. So I thought maybe that's what you were going for.
I think it's not really a good character, but if I remember correctly, it's a Charles Dickens novel. I thought it was like Oliver Twist or something like that.
I think it is. I think Fagan was a thief.
He was a very angry Jewish man.
Oh, okay. That's not you.
No, I'm none of those things usually. Anyways.
Well, you're more Jewish than you are angry.
So in the preface to the novel, he's described as a receiver of stolen goods, but within the text, he is more frequently decided as the merry old gentleman. So I kind of align with that, if that makes you feel any better.
It doesn't. I feel like a huge asshole, but that's kind of what goes on in this episode, or this show, not this episode. But apparently this episode as well. So Wayne's not here. Hunter is. Rum had to go to the airport or something. I didn't really. It's Rum. He does Rum things. So this episode actually, I'm gonna air it on Thanksgiving, with good reason, because I wanted to, sort of reflect on this episode, at least for a few minutes. Like, you'll pardon me, audience, if this isn't quite entertaining, but I think I'm not alone in saying that the last year has largely sucked. I know for me personally, like, I had surgery, and which. I'm fine. It was painful. I'm fine. But not a lot of great, like, it just seems like the last year's been fairly tumultuous, and certainly we've discussed the election on this show, far more than we should for a show that's mainly about, saying the word pussy and fuck, as often as possible. But because of all that, it made me think about, well, the day this is coming out will be Thanksgiving, and I normally look at Thanksgiving as kind of a pain in the ass wrapped in delicious food. However, I think for once I'd like to sort of take stock of what actually is good, because I've been talking to various friends, Wayne included, who've had a rough time. But everyone knows Wayne's mom died, and certainly he's had problems that I don't know if we've got too much into as far as like the fallout from his mom dying. However, I've talked to him and a few other people about like various disappointments, because I've also had like personal disappointments with people and events, and I keep telling them all, look, and especially like the people who are like freaking out because of the way the election went, like, the world is going to have bad things. That's always going to happen. There's always going to be some like big thing on the horizon, like, oh, the world's going to end. The world's going to end. The ancient Incans thought the world was going to end. The original Christians, the reason that sex is so taboo in Christianity is because they thought Jesus was coming like next week. That's not a joke. They thought he was coming in like 2 weeks.
Quite literally, he was coming.
Right.
Yeah.
How dare you, sir?
Merry Christmas, everybody, and to all a good night.
That's someone's Lord and Savior. It's not really mine, but
calm down with your candlelight processional ass.
It's trust me, it's hardly the most offensive thing that's been said in the last 5 minutes. No, but they thought it was coming back. So the reason that sex is so taboo is that they were like, well, sex is for procreation, and you're not going to have a baby in the next 2 weeks, so like keep it in your pants, So there's always someone saying that the world's going to end, and guess what? The world's not going to end, and if you look at, and I'll speak for me personally, before I ask Hunter, a lot of good's happened this year. My little brother got married. Hunter, I don't know if you have any siblings. We've never discussed that.
I have 2 younger siblings.
Well, there you go. Like it's, and especially, well, if you're the older brother, you kind of, I'm sure you can kind of, I don't know if your siblings are anywhere near getting married, but it's certainly an interesting feeling to get to watch your younger sibling, become a man. I don't know if you might have 2 sisters. That would be a far more interesting experience for you if that's the case. But I got to see that, and yeah, Wayne's mom died. But as I was telling him, little Wayne, his son that was born this year, literally within days of the year beginning, he wasn't planned, and his mom died, but his mom got to meet his son. His mom's wanted him to have a kid since he was like 10. So she was trying to get him to be one of those those dudes that gets a girl pregnant at 16, and that's cool, and one of my other best friends, Josh, he got a job that's going to allow him to come home, so I get to see him and his wife and his baby daughter far more often than I would otherwise. And we'll get into in a minute. I've got a bunch of projects now that I wasn't doing, a year or 2 ago. I've gotten involved with trying to do YouTube, and it's going slowly, getting me camera ready. But it is going, and it's gotten better.
I have noticed you've been plucking your eyebrows more, so that's a good thing.
Well, I thought people only noticed the pubic hair, but yes, the eyebrows, I do take a little bit of care.
I mean, if you keep flossing your teeth with my dick, anyways.
Wow! And he just comes in with it. Wow.
Remember, that was on. Okay, we haven't actually mentioned the show yet. Never mind. You're gonna have to drop that clip in there for them later. I'll have to see if I can get a direct line to that.
I don't remember that clip at all.
You don't remember that? It was like, oh, finally your dentist is proud of you for flossing.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, then the joke falls flat. You're gonna have to cut all this.
I absolutely not. I thought it was fun. I only cut things if it's like dead air or if a guest asks me to, which technically you did, but fuck you, I'm fine.
Hey.
But Yeah, those were the major things that happened, and or the major good things. And there's, like I said, there's always like little good things here and there that happen. And that's what's important to keep notice of. And I'm very grateful for those things, and I'm grateful for the people that listen to this show. It's not a big show. We've been going for a while, and our audience, it's not what I'd like it to be in terms of numbers. But at the same time, I'm grateful for each and every, because I know that there are people out there who I hear from, Jeff Carlson, Travis Hemel, those are two guys who pretty regularly hit me up to let me know they really enjoy the show, and I know they're not lying. They'll bring up if they thought something was funny, and they do try to share the show. And I'm grateful to each and every one of you. All the English people out there. That family that wrote us the other day, I'm sorry I don't remember your name, but you got like 20 minutes on that one episode where we sung your praises, the Flanagans. I'm grateful to so much of that, because if I had to sum up the Metal Hand of God podcast, some of you have seen the banner on Facebook. It says, family, loyalty, dick jokes. Like that really is what we are. Above anything else, and above worrying about like, oh, can we ever make money off this show and all that, like it's really about that. It's about family and trying to make people laugh. The other day, somebody kind of fucked with me, like tried to embarrass me, and I won't go into the details, but Kyle was next to me, and he took up for me, and I really appreciated it. But at the same time, like, I've been telling that dude all along when he joined the show about a year ago, I said, like, you're family, like you're part of our family now. And his brother Kevin is part of our family. And that's all we really give a shit about. Like, none of the other stuff. I don't care. Like, if you can make us a fortune or anything like that, if you want to be a part of our family, if you want to be part of what we're trying to build, cool. If you're just some dick, I don't have any use for that. Mm-hmm. And I've kind of rambled there, but is there anything that you're grateful that you'd like to talk about?
2016 has been kind of like what you said. I'm reminded of that John Oliver skit from, I think it was last week, with the "Fuck You 2016." Did you happen to see that by any chance?
Not a big John Oliver fan, but I think I heard about it.
Yeah, so basically he just went around asking people about what was their worst parts of 2016. And a lot of people brought up, we lost David Bowie, we lost Alan Rickman, Prince, a whole bunch of different things. There was the Brexit this year. But I guess kind of things that I'm thankful for, the reason I bring that up is being a Central Florida resident, we did have a bit of tragedy earlier this year with the mass shooting at Pulse. And, that's completely awful, and nothing's ever going to change that. But just seeing Central Florida in general kind of band together to really just envelop each other in love and kindness, and everything that has happened since has really been heartwarming. And it's something that I keep going back to with the, like you said, the election and everything like that. As long as we look out for each other, everything's going to be fine, regardless of what your political views are or what your religious views are. Just take care of each other. And I think Orlando is in a much better shape now, unfortunately, due to this than it has been in a while. So that's one thing I'm thankful for in a really kind of morbid way. Hopefully I'm not too strange for saying that, but.
Oh, no, not at all. In fact, it's funny. I was thinking the other day about the way people react to things. Like, there was a Facebook, Facebook does the memory shit.
Yeah.
There was one right after there was that, not the most recent attack on France, but the shooting at the concert that I think it was Lamb of God.
Yeah.
I had written something to the effect of, okay, it's really great that everyone's doing the "We Stand with France" like Facebook flag thing, but how are you actually going to react in your life? Are you going to react the way you did after September 11th, or are you going to continue to attack and cut down each other? And when that came up on Facebook Memories, I reposted it with the caption, "Guess not." You know, as sad as it is, like the Pulse shooting is really the closest we've come to, and I realize you probably have a hugely different perspective on September 11th because you're much younger than me.
Yeah, and I was actually overseas at the time.
Really?
Which adds a whole nother story. My family coming from Army, I was actually stationed in Germany at the time, so it was really quite a scary thing to watch happen back home. Keeping in mind I was 9 years old at the time.
Well, that makes it scarier.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I was 21, so and believe me, it was well, maybe not as frightening as it was for you, but certainly nothing like that had happened in my lifetime. But yeah, like that's the Pulse shooting's the closest we've come to that, where really people, and I don't remember who, but I do remember seeing people who normally were not advocates of, say, gay marriage, saying, you know, like, we stand with you too. Like we might not think you should stand in front of a preacher with a ring, but you know, we care that you know that your life is as valuable as ours, and it's really the closest. The sad thing is that effect was rather fleeting in this highly politicized time. But as sad as that was, it was nice to see people stop for a second from what they were doing and say, this isn't right.
And, you know, I'm not saying nationwide it's been forgotten or anything by any means. All I'm saying is really that to this day, I still see, I mean, even today, I have a friend who works with me who, coming into work today, he wore his Orlando United t-shirt, it's a kind of like a geometric heart that's just in the rainbow patterns. And I still see those shirts all the time. Every night I went to Halloween Horror Nights, I saw at least 3 of those shirts. So it's even something that's been removed several months on. It's something that's going to stick with people, and for better or for worse, in my opinion, I guess in this way, for better, it is going to stick with people in the sense that we're going to look out for each other, especially in the Central Florida area.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like I said, in kind of a weird, morbid way, I'm thankful for that, because I haven't seen unity like that. Because even then, I mean, we were gearing up for the primaries, I think, at the time, which was getting still pretty divisive because this whole political season has been a clusterfuck. So yeah, that I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for. I'm very grateful for. I mean, you were just talking about numbers, so I feel kind of bad. But my podcast has actually grown quite a bit this year, which is with the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. It's awesome to see a project that you've worked at for so long. I mean, I've recorded over 200 episodes of this show by now. Finally, not hit its stride, but have such a noticeable boost in numbers. Like, that's really special to see people reacting to something you've poured your heart and soul into for so long. And a lot of that goes out to my co-hosts with Darren, Lee, and Tracy. But that's a good mention. That's something I'm thankful for.
Right on. No, there's no reason to feel bad about it. I'm in a far more broad category than you are. It's comedy is and certainly something that's like our show is broad in general. Like it's a little harder to pick up steam when you're against juggernauts, whereas you know y'all still have to have an uphill battle just like anyone else, because you don't have money to really put into like nationwide advertising and stuff like that. But you know, but it's good that y'all are making a little headway, because I know we discussed off air like how much work goes into your show, which is far more, I keep using the word regimented, but that's what it is. It's very, you know, you plan out segments and you write scripts and stuff like that. And anyone who's listened to the show knows that there's episodes where we don't even have a single topic going in, where we're just like, well, let's just wing it, and somehow or another we managed to come out with some as we used to say, radio gold.
Yeah, which
but
is great. And I'd be remiss to mention I guess the reason you're having me on. I'm very grateful for the new podcasts I'm getting going, especially with you and Travis and Kenny with the Grim Grinning Hosts podcast. That's been a lot of fun, and that'll be launching pretty quick, so I'm very excited to get that out to people.
That's right, and I've mentioned it on the show. Actually, the last 2 episodes, I devoted a couple minutes on both of them to discussing it. But
you mentioned it
Hunter,
on your Fantastic Beasts thing as well.
Yeah, less of an audience to that, though. I think that one's got 5 views, and you were one of them.
I think I was 2 because it actually buffered at one point, and I had to back out and start it over. Sorry.
It's far more depressing. Nah, it's fine. It's YouTube. I just really wanted to get my thoughts out on that movie, but yeah, I mentioned Grim Grinning Hosts on the last 2, but I did want to have you on for a few minutes because first of all, since this is kind of an off episode because again Wayne couldn't make it. He's out doing adult things, which sounds completely different than I meant it, but probably that too. He might be banging Caitlin as we speak. I don't know.
I mean, why not?
Hi, Caitlin. Wait, what?
I mean, why not? Something to be thankful for.
Absolutely.
There you go.
That's how we pray. But since I didn't have any regular co-hosts for this episode, and I did want to, I think the reason that I'm doing this, and I never did anything like this with Radio DCP or what have you, but Grim Grinning Hosts is at least slightly a little more tonally like Metal Hand of God than it is, say, your regular podcast, Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, in that it's a little more freeform and it's a little more, you can say what you feel like it and don't worry about like if anyone's going to get freaked out, which I was a little bit because I knew you somewhat, but I didn't know Travis and Kenny. So I'm always a little hesitant. Like,
Travis literally starts off episode 2 with "What's up, fuckers?" So you should have been right at home.
Right, but we started in with a pilot episode where I literally never spoken a single word to either of these guys, and so I'm always a little hesitant about that sort of thing. But it really is, and it's certainly not MHOG. You're not going to hear at least. You'll hear racial slurs, but they're all about English people.
But damn, do they make ugly muffins.
But they're still tasty. Certainly, the content on MHOG's far and away more vicious and hopefully entertaining. But I feel like Grim Grinning Hosts is going to be a little more at home. So if there's any audience members out there who do like MHOG and are looking for a theme park podcast, maybe you already follow some, or maybe you didn't realize those were out there. Launching in a couple weeks will be Grim Grinning Hosts, but we're also this episode is going to have, I don't know the exact number of minutes, but I'm leaning towards 40 to 45 minutes of the pilot episode, which technically hasn't aired yet.
No, and that's an episode that pretty much everybody's heard at this point. We did some test listening and everything, and we got a lot of really good feedback on it. The only complaint I had about the pilot episode is that it did go a little long, but that was, like you said, that was the first time you interacted with Travis and Kenny. So it was, I think the total episode came out to almost 2 hours, and these other episodes I'm editing down are coming out to like an hour 10 or an hour. So I think that's going to be much more digestible for people.
Well, it was also a matter of we didn't actually intend to air the pilot. Like that was just going to be like, let's get together for like half an hour, get a little sense of the chemistry and like, how is this going to work? Is it going to work? Because it's a far different format than you're used to. It's like I said, a little closer to MHOG in that it's just people bringing up stuff they want to talk about. It's a little more organized than, actually it's a lot more organized than MHOG is, but you're used to more of the discussing news and rumors format, which is what theme park podcasts 99% of the time are.
What they typically are, exactly.
So, But yeah, I think it's a fun show, and I think that's going to come across. And like I said, this is only the first 45 minutes. So if you do like it when it does come out, obviously it'll be on the MHOG Facebook page and my Twitter and all that. So you can actually listen to the whole 2-hour thing. I do want to say this though, and because I think you still have a little bit of nerves about the whole thing, like a little bit of nervous.
You got to keep in mind, after 200 episodes of UUOP, I've kind of gotten into ebb and flow of things. We were talking about this before I recorded. I know my place on that show, and I know what I'm comfortable with. This is the first time I've hosted UUOP several times, but I've never been the guiding figurehead of a show. So I'm still kind of figuring out my footing as far as that is concerned. Excuse me.
That's understandable, and as I mentioned to you, the main reason I agreed to do the show was because you said I didn't have to take any responsibility for anything, because I hate hosting shows.
But I mean, in that first 45 minutes, what do we cover? We cover Tapu Tapu that ass. We cover shaking your tits at the Fast Pass Plus machine. We call each other a lot of names. There's a lot of quality content there.
It's pretty sexy stuff. Well, I wanted to mention to you and I get that like your fears will never quite be at ease until it's actually on the air, but there's an unaired MHOG pilot, and I don't even know if Wayne still. I assume he still has the copy somewhere, but I had come off like MHOG developed out of the BSI Comics podcast that I had been doing, and I think I'd only done like 25 episodes at that point. And Wayne had come on, and he kind of it was actually for Avengers. He helped me review Avengers, and he was like, I want to do this, and so he got me and the Rum Guy. But it was supposed to be a bigger show. We were supposed to have like 3 other people or something like that. So we recorded a pilot episode, and I got to say, it's one of the most god awful things you'll ever hear. Like it, there was one guy, Rusty, was playing video games, and so not even paying attention to what was going on. There was no topic. There was just sort of an awkward. I can't even remember what was said. I just remember this awkwardness of us all kind of sitting around. It was the kind of conversation you have in line at a DMV. Like just
what number are you?
Right. That's sort of just loose chatter,
Well,
so,
I mean, we haven't really gone over it, but our show's more or less loose chatter too. So basically the idea here is that unlike the other shows like you're talking about with news and rumors and everything like that, Grim Grinning Hosts is purely based around the idea that everybody brings in a topic each week. So the show is constantly changing as far as what's being discussed. We're not going to have a set script. We're not going to have any set dialogue aside from the introduction and the outro, and the parental advisory at the beginning, because, little kids shouldn't be listening to the show. But it's not as explicit as Metal Hand of God, obviously. I got to give you a shout out there.
We do have children that listen to this, though.
Okay. Well, I mean, you got to put your kids to bed somehow.
We actually have a baby that that sits there while we're recorded. But funny enough that you mentioned falling asleep, and our audience knows this. This kid passes out listening to us, which is hilarious. Like he just sort of falls limp in his father's arms as we record. And it's hysterical just because it's just it just reminds us of how old we are, that like even the most brutal, horrible things that we're saying, the kid's just like, all right, old man.
I like to think that's just Dick Clark's ghost claiming another child's soul. Eventually he'll come back, and he will continue that New Year's Eve countdown.
How dare you, sir? My godson will be claimed by the ghost of Johnny Carson, if anyone.
Got to keep them wrinkles smooth.
Though I do like Shaggy. So we'll probably move into the actual airing of the episode now. I do think for anyone, because I think Kenny and Travis and possibly yourself might share this episode. I do want to warn anyone. It's been pretty tame up until now. I am going to air one of my favorite songs from Mr. Jack Locke, our good friend who's done the show many times, Sleazy Sexy. It's the kind of little ditty you can bang your old lady to.
Oh.
At least peep at her when she's not looking, from another man's But doesn't matter. So I'm gonna play Sleazy Sexy, and then go into the episode. And that's probably gonna be it. I don't know. I guess I should probably record something saying, all right, that's it, and like I'll let you know, like whatever. But I'm rambling now. So without further ado, thank you, Hunter.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
And listen now for when Grim Grinning Hosts come out to socialize.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows where the ladies are this time of night. They all with me, baby. That is, they all gonna be with me. Because I got that special soft serve kind of love, kind of oozes all over the place. Yeah, you know what I mean. I know how to make a woman scream. Oh, yes, women scream at me all the time. My mom's was yelling at me just the other day for leaving the TV tray out. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. You and me. Now, baby, tell me this. Have you ever done it on the moon? Well, nobody has. Because you need to wear spacesuits on the moon. And that would be kind of awkward. And kind of awkward. I kind of wish I hadn't said that. And it's kind of awkward like the feeling you get when I say, I wanna be the man in your closet watching you undress. I'm sleazy or sexy, they both start with finesse. And when you turn to ignore me in my line of sight, I tell my friends I was with you last Saturday night. That's right. And girl, when they ask why you're not talking to me, I just tell them that's how I roll. I've moved on to something else already. And they don't need to know that I'm really talking about internet porn. I haven't really lied, you know. I was sitting at this same table last weekend watching you dance with your friends. We was in the same room, you know, so provided we're going by Webster's definitions, I really was with you and all your friends at the same time. I wanna be the man in your closet watching you undress. I'm sleazy or sexy, they both start with a mess. And when you try to ignore me in my line of sight, I'm memorizing every part of you for later tonight. That's right. Yeah. Alright, enough time for some of my magical action. Tonight I take my stand. I'll be no wingman. I'm riding this solo first class. That girl in the gray and one who's looking this way. Tonight I'm gonna stick it in her. Have you ever been in a crowded room and you were talking to one of your friends and the whole room goes quiet right before you say something you didn't necessarily want the whole room to hear? Well, that just happened, and now I'm that guy. And so I try to play it off. I say, can you believe he told her he wanted to stick it in her ass? Oh, but it's too late, ain't it? So now I'm really riding solo tonight. Baby, it's all your loss. You know, ain't no woman can love me like I do. I was just trying to do you a favor, share the wealth. So yeah, you damn right I go fuck myself. And lady, let me educate you on a little fact. I'm so good, I bet you don't even last 30 seconds. So what you got to say now? I wanna be a man in your closet watching you undress. I'm sleazy or sexy, they both start with a mess. And when you try to ignore me in my line of sight, I'm memorizing every part of you for later tonight. That's right.
Before we get into tonight's events, let it please be known that Grim Grinning Hosts is a podcast featuring four friends often having exuberant, loud, and sometimes explicit discussion. While the subject theme of GGH is absolutely that of theme parks and its culture, which is generally family-friendly, the language used in the podcast might not be appropriate for all ears, including Mickey Mouse's ears. Consider this your advisory, and if you're still here,
let's rock!
By the way, I heard I listened to this podcast called Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend.
Oh yeah.
And they had I can't think of his name right now. He's a guy that does a podcast called Motherly Love. But he was talking about he went to Halloween Horror Nights out in Hollywood, which I think UUOP is how I found out that they had that out there. And he was talking about like it was a bunch of celebrities, including what's her name that plays Rey on Star Wars Force Awakens?
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley. So there's these celebrities, and of course they get like the backstage tour and all that, and like the special passes, even though it's Halloween Horror Nights. And he said that they went on Jurassic Park out there, and there was this weird thing where like the water started sinking, and they were like kind of they're just on the track, like the whatever it is, the conveyor belt, and they got stuck like right before it like plummets.
Jesus.
And so there was like 20 minutes, and I've never heard of anything like this before. And I was curious to see if I'd hear anything like I haven't seen any mention of it on any websites or anything like that. But
I'm not
strangest thing I've ever heard.
I'm not sure if I told Travis about this or if it was Darren. They're both luxuriously bearded gentlemen. Fun fact: when Steven Spielberg rides Jurassic Park River Adventure, they actually stop the vehicle at the very, very top of the lift hill so he can get off. He doesn't do drops. So I'm wondering if it was one of those situations.
Oh, no. They didn't know this was happening. They were freaking out. And they were on there for like an hour before they were able to cast members were, well, what do they call them? Staff members, whatever. I don't know.
Team
members. I always call them cast members because it's the same fucking thing. It's just
it's Disney.
Don't want Disney to sue. The team members for some also like they were at the top, so apparently there's no elevator and they had to like run up the stairs. So they were on there for between a half an hour and an hour waiting for
should have just slid down the drop. That'd have been fun.
With no water, just back against concrete.
Yeah.
And then they'll get off with chapless or assless chaps.
Halloween Horror Nights.
I don't know. It wouldn't be too horrible to me for Daisy Ridley to have some assless
Fair enough,
chaps.
my friend. My Google search history would also agree with you. On that note.
What?
Hello.
If this does go live, it should be titled Steven Spielberg is a bitch.
None of us have introduced ourselves so far.
No. I haven't even got through the introduction at this point.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
You're good. I mean, you were going at it, buddy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Grim Grinning Hosts podcast, a brand new project for members of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast, the Metal Hand of God podcast, and the In the Loop podcast. My name's Hunter, and I will be your captain of this crude and probably regrettable trip into the world of theme parks and amusement attractions. Alongside me, I have my most faithful partner, a beautiful southern accented and luxuriously bearded gentleman, Mr. Travis, who you know from the UUOP and Dead Man's Digest.
How's it going, guys?
I'm excited to have you here, Travis.
I'm excited to be here.
Turned on at that description.
Well, wait till you hear yours, Adam.
Sweet.
Pipe down. Next up, I have Mr. Sorcerer. Next up, I have Sorcerer.
Now I'm really turned on.
I just
Are
the
you
tongue
drinking
action.
too, Hunter?
I had cranberry apple juice and it was freaking delicious. I'll have you know that. Turn it up.
Fermented?
Possibly. It's in my Halloween Horror Nights 26 cup, which I haven't washed. So.
Yeah, you're getting the remnants.
That's exactly it.
Of Kim's drinks.
Next up, I have Sorcerer Supreme and the Ladies' Man Extraordinaire. Do you want me to call you Buck Lightning or do you want to go by Adam?
That was me. Okay. Nobody really I introduce myself as that sometimes, but only on the show. But like in real life, when people are like, "Hey, Buck Lightning," I'm like, "What? Oh, right." It's up to you. I'm fine with it. It's a joke that I've taken too far, but
Buck Lightning sounds like my favorite Cedar Point roller coaster. So if that makes you feel any better,
it's actually kind of a joke referencing Usain Bolt.
The more you know.
The idea,
okay, I get
the
it.
idea being that Usain Bolt is an awesome name for a president, and I thought I could do better, so I went with Buck Lightning.
Usain Bolt sounds like a comic book villain.
Usain Bolt's an Olympic.
Well, I know that. I'm just saying the name.
I mean, it could be that too.
I'm not that worldly oblivious, I promise you.
But up to you. You can go with Buck Lightning. You can go with Adam. I don't care.
All right, I'm keeping that all in. And he is from the infamous Metal Hand of God podcast. How you doing, Adam?
I'm fine. My headphones just popped out.
Are you really fine?
Sorry, that was my whole microphone.
I'm good. I'm recovering from surgery nicely, and happy to be on like my 9th show.
I'm so happy you decided to take a part. You and I have done a single podcast together in the past, so.
Yeah, I had to cancel that show because I got tired of paying for it and just switched to YouTube.
Yeah. Well, we'll throw in links and everything at the end of the show so people know where they can find you. Same thing for all you guys. And of course, finally, the most important man of the hour. I have the infamous Kenny, the musician, metalhead, and general brutal as fuck member from the In the Loop podcast.
Hello, everybody.
Wait. Why is Kenny the most important?
Kenny? Because Kenny is probably the most well-composed out of all of us, even though he's the one drinking.
Who
says I'm not?
Sir.
You're the quiet one.
All of you sirs just need to wait. If you think I'm well-composed, you are sadly mistaken. Sadly. I will bring the immaturity to this show. I promise you that.
You've never drank with Kenny at Horror Nights, so you don't know what composure is.
No, because they don't have cranberry apple juice at Halloween Horror Nights.
And you also don't drink, so.
Yeah, well, if they had cranberry apple juice, I would drink at Halloween Horror Nights.
So,
gotcha.
Just for future reference, any of these podcasts that become a sidebar shit show, it is going to solely be on my shoulders, and I'll apologize in advance. So I'm sorry, but not really
beg
sorry.
to differ.
So should I change your introduction?
Yeah, I'll second that one as well.
Should I change your introduction, Kenny? Should it be finally I, the infamous Kenny, the Stitch's great escape to our podcast here?
What?
Either way works for me. I mean, you can keep the irony of the first one if you'd like.
All right.
That's a pretty good one. I like that.
All right, we're going to keep it.
I don't know what the fuck it means, but it's pretty good.
Grim Grinning Hosts is purely based around the idea that theme park discussions should be as fun, controversial, and generally hilarious as the people who take part in the various online communities. We're here to throw a loop in the formula of typical theme park shows. Instead of following, the traditional format of news, rumors, lists, sorry Lee, I still love you and UUOP. What we're going to do here is a little different. Each week, each one of us is going to bring in a topic that we would like to discuss. The topic can range from anything in the theme park and amusement industry. Say, for instance, I might want to discuss the Hatbox Ghost and his eventual transition to Walt Disney World, while Adam wants to discuss the Candlelight Processional like the good Christian boy he is. We are currently figuring out how we will get you.
My mother would love to hear you say that, just for the record.
Good. I've actually doused myself in holy water before I've started this project. We are currently figuring out how we will get you, the listener, involved, and we're going to keep you updated as we figure out exactly how we want to go about that. As we gain a little bit more notoriety, we might decide to throw up a Patreon just for keeping the show afloat, because we are going to completely pay for this out of pocket. It's not coming out of UUOP funds or anything like that. So we'll let you guys know. I would love to do listener-submitted topics once or twice a month. So as we figure it all out, once again, we'll let you all know. All right. So with all the pleasantries out of the way, all the bullshit, let's get this party started.
When it's time to party, we will party hard.
These are the three fine gentlemen I submit to you. Like I said, we might have an occasional guest on every now and then, but right now it is the four of us. So, yeah.
So get used to it. Like
Yeah.
it or not, get used to it.
Yeah.
How long before we have Leon just tell us how much Disney sucks for a straight hour?
I might get Lee to do the parental advisory. I think that's a pretty good idea.
But no one will understand him because he's English.
Fair enough. All those English words run together.
I should mention that English is my racial slur for English people.
I was gonna say, did you say English?
Yeah.
Never heard that before.
Yeah.
From the tribe of Inglis.
They find it fairly charming from the response I've gotten out of it.
Oh, that's good. I mean, if you're gonna be racist, at least come across as a nice racist.
I'm just seeing Adam sitting in front of his TV, shaking his head at X Factor. Those damn Inglis.
Oh man, no, I've got some English friends. So sometimes they go on the other show, and I get to be mean to them.
They're fantastic people over there. I'm sure they're gonna love us just fine.
Oh,
fantastic.
Yeah. I'm actually
Kind of
most
dirty,
excited
though.
to send the show to Craig Lucas, if that's any indicator.
Oh, I really like Craig, but that one's gonna have to have like a separate parental advisory because, good God, like I can't tell you how many messages I've gotten from him about like dogs shitting in women's mouths.
God.
The dark side of DisAfterDark. Pluto's got some hidden fetishes. We're gonna let you know all about it.
My absolute favorite Craig story of all time was the time he went to a Tampa Bay Rays game and was eating a hot dog and was so drunk he didn't realize until halfway through the hot dog he was also eating the wrapper. This was incredible. I almost crashed my car while I was driving. It was such a funny story.
And Craig's got such a I mean, you can't confuse that accent for anybody else.
No, I was gonna say if
Craig.
you wanna give Lee a hard time about his accent, listen to those guys.
Oh, I know. He's like Lurch from the Addams Family with an English accent. It's fascinating.
I actually think the best part of that story is that Craig Lucas went to a Tampa Bay Rays.
Exactly.
What?
I like to imagine Craig sitting there. He's like, I'm tired of Magic Kingdom. What can I do today? I'm going to go to a Tampa Bay Rays game.
I mean, just think about it. He flew halfway across the world and had to rent a car to go to Tampa Bay to see a Tampa Bay Rays game.
Well, seeing as how now he's probably going to hear this, I really hope I was right about that. I do recall them talking about going to a Tampa Bay Rays game, and I remember him drunkenly eating a hot dog with its wrapper. So,
well, if that's not true, I never want to know. I want to always believe that.
I wanted to live down in infamy.
I really hope he's a season ticket holder now.
Well, now he has to hear this story, and he has to confirm whether that was true or not.
First listener to send us footage of Craig eating the hot dog with the wrapper on the Jumbotron will receive some sort of prize. We'll make it happen.
I'm going to veto that. I don't want any images of Craig Lucas eating something phallic.
Oh, my God.
All right, so you know what? On that note, Adam, what's your first topic for this? Get this ball rolling.
Since this is a 0 episode and we wanted to go light, I had a thought. Funny enough, I was listening to UUOP and it gave me that thought because y'all were reviewing the Volcano Bay intro video they put out. Tapu Tapu, which I feel like that might be the weakest part of it. It's a magic band, but no, it's Tapu Tapu. It's different. But I was listening to it and I was watching the video. And I'm wondering, and I'm putting this out to y'all because that's what the show's about. Is Volcano Bay, whether intentionally, and I assume it is, or unintentionally, is it kind of, using an English term, taking the piss out of Avatar Land, since Avatar Land is still not quite sure when it's coming out or what's coming out on it? But it sounds like the sand and the writing on the walls and all that. It sounds like it's kind of like taking a swing at Disney and Avatar Land to me.
I'll go ahead and hop in here real quick. So on the last episode of UUOP, I actually, to paraphrase the English or the Ingli and you, Adam, I made a comment that Jimmy Fallon sounded a hell of a lot like a bunch of Epcot attractions. And this, kind of like what you're bringing up, the entire time we were talking about this, I was like, this kind of sounds like what they're doing with Avatar. I don't think the relation there, it's directly tied into, hey, we're going to capitalize on the success of Avatar Land. But I definitely think there's some elements that maybe Disney was working on. I'm not saying they got industry leaks or anything like that by any means. I'm just saying...
No, but we've heard various things that sound like this coming out of Disney, but we've seen no proof of life from it.
Yeah. I guess it depends on... as far as we know, you guys might know better than I do, Animal Kingdom, are they still going for all the light fixtures in Avatar Land at this point? Like the glowing, are they actually doing like the glowing floor, like was talked about previously?
Like the bioluminescent stuff?
Yeah.
I believe so. But on that note, didn't Universal, like a few years ago, kind of patent that whole glowing sand type deal?
Yeah. So the glowing sand that I assume is going out near the wave pool, that was a patent that they filed, I want to say as much as like 3 years ago at this point.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Well, how long is Avatar Land? 4 years? Like it's pretty close. Like
who knows?
It's got to be 3 or 4 years that they've been working on this.
To be honest, Volcano Bay will probably be closed down by the time Avatar Land opens.
Part of me hopes so.
I think it's gonna be pretty badass, dude. Just like seeing riding down I-4 coming from like Disney side, heading east towards where I live. Even not finished, not lit up or anything, it's a big structure. So I can't imagine how cool it's going to be driving down I-4 when it's all lit up, and it's going to look pretty damn badass. So I'm excited to see that, because it kind of like crests over like I-4. Like it's off to the left hand side, and I-4 kind of goes off to the right of it. So it's definitely going to be a sight to see when it's done, especially at night.
I can't wait for one of those linear induction motors to send some hapless tourist straight onto the highway down their raft.
Well, since y'all have all seen it, I haven't yet. It's been last time I was in Florida was New Year's Eve, so this was before the Volcano Bay really started being constructed.
It's gigantic.
Yeah, it's
well,
huge.
my question is there a perfect angle to take a photo where Volcano Bay is sort of silhouetted by the Holy Land experience?
Like post-apocalyptic? Are we going for a Sodom and Gomorrah type relationship here?
Not really because of the way it's situated. It's situated on kind of if you're, I don't know, it's kind of hard to describe with I usually take the exit after Kirkman. It's kind of a wraparound.
Yeah.
And it's like off to the left-hand side. Like if you're looking at Cabana Bay, it's like right off to the left-hand side of Cabana Bay.
It passes by Sapphire Falls and all that, right?
Literally right next to the Sand Lake exit, pretty much is the best way I can describe it to you.
It's basically, as far as I can tell already, the volcano itself is pretty much going to be as iconic as when you're coming to the resort and you see the Hulk or you see Dr. Doom. I mean, it's going to be every bit as much a visual icon as anything else in that resort.
Yeah, it's badass, dude.
And dare I say,
it's just going to look incredible.
I think it's actually going to be their most impressive, quote unquote, weenie by the time everything's said and done. I think that volcano is just going to absolutely shatter. I mean, I love the White House. I love the White House. Well, that's debatable. I love the lighthouse. I love the globe. But,
it's gonna be huge.
We're gonna build a wall around I-4, and Disney's gonna pay for it. I love those two icons. I love the lighthouse. I love the globe. But the volcano is going to be something special. And we've seen volcanoes before. I mean, we've even got Mount Tilly and Mount Gushmore for the Disney parks. But this is a totally different ballgame, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm actually a big water park fan, so I'm especially interested in this. And the Disney water parks are up there for me. I'm really more of a Typhoon Lagoon than than Blizzard Beach.
I'm a Typhoon Lagoon guy too. I love the water coaster there. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing. The Crush and Gusher sort of crushes everything else, especially now that, and I'm not a Summit Plummet guy because I'm afraid of heights, but now that Summit Plummet's not working, and that's another thing. I noticed that the Volcano Bay is going to have a Summit Plummet-esque attraction as well. So it feels like they're really like laying it in, like taking shots at Disney with Volcano Bay.
Well, we brought this up on the show too when we were talking about Tapu Tapu. We were talking about kind of Universal taking a step back and then being able to say, okay, well, this worked for Disney. What components can we take? If this is the best amalgamation of Typhoon Lagoon and Wet n Wild and Blizzard Beach, then I think a lot of people are going to be very, very happy.
Most likely. And by the way, Tapu Tapu should totally be just like a little totem that hangs on a necklace. Like the wristband thing just doesn't jive to me.
No, it absolutely should be a little wooden carved totem.
Kind of feels like they're biting off the magic band a little bit, doing the whole wristband thing.
They are, but it looked from the video as if like Tapu Tapu is going to be a little wider, kind of more ostentatious.
Yeah, I think they had to do it wristband because of the things that you kind of wave your hand in front of. So I mean, if you kind of had to wave a necklace in front of something, it might be kind of
you can like shake
maybe.
Your tits, like it's gonna. I assume y'all are like slightly overweight I'm massively overweight.
Those two are the slim ones. I'm a bit heavier, so.
Well, I weigh as much as all three of you, so you're good.
So Adam, let me ask you: are you a little bit worried with the proximity to SeaWorld? If you ever do the Summit Plummet attraction, you ever worried?
I've never done SeaWorld.
You never done SeaWorld?
In the 2+ dozen times I've been to Orlando, including the 2 times that I lived there, I'm not, first of all, not a big fan of like paying money to see animals. Like I'm just not that guy. Like it's fine. Like when I go to Animal Kingdom, I specifically pass up the animals.
Oh really? Animal Kingdom's probably my favorite park at this point for Walt Disney World.
I'm older than you. I'm an Epcot guy.
Okay.
Why you hating on animals, bruh?
Yeah. Gonna kick you off the show. You and your Tapu Tapu.
I like to be the top of the food chain in any situation. That's why I specifically hit on teenage girls.
Oh.
We'll cut that out.
Oh shit! No. Don't.
So, do you go on Dinosaur and you just kind of put your hands over your ears and you're like, I'm still top?
No, I go on Dinosaur and complain that it's not the Indiana Jones attraction.
Hey, you and me both, brother.
Oh.
I got a friend that's always like, it's the best ride. I'm like, it's a half-assed Indiana Jones.
It's not Indiana Jones.
I like Dinosaur, but I've not been on Indiana Jones, so.
Well, a lot of people haven't because it's the one thing that, and I mean, obviously Disneyland has a few things that Magic Kingdom does not, but that is the one thing that I think everyone who's been to Disneyland and loves Walt Disney World more, just like, please God, at some point, just give us the damn attraction.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been rumors for like 15 years at this point that they were going to demo Indiana Jones stage show and put that back there, but
yeah, but how much of that is wishful thinking? Because I
all of it's wishful thinking, in my opinion.
I think everyone does the Indiana Jones stage show and goes, "That was really cool." Now what?
Now I never have to see that again.
Pretty much,
yeah.
Unless it's really hot outside, and
So, Adam, quick question, and I'm glad to ask this question because I feel like this is a good time to kind of get to know each other a little bit on the first episode. Your reason for not being to SeaWorld, aside from just not being a big animal guy, are you big into the roller coaster stuff, or are you more or less just like more of a heavily themed ride kind of guy, a dark ride kind of guy? Where do you sit with like roller coasters?
Well. Okay, so I've been on Incredible Hulk several times. not crazy about it because again, I'm afraid of heights. Like dark rides don't bother me whatsoever because it takes away the visual like psychological component. But like there's you have no chance of ever getting me on oh god damn it, what's Lee's favorite ride?
Rip Ride Rocket.
Rip Ride Rocket.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna warn y'all in advance. My brain no work sometime. So simple things that I'm trying to think of escape me quite often. So yeah, like Rip Ride Rocket, I'll never do. I'm a little bit of everything. Like I know there's a lot of complaints about Universal's like screen attractions and all that. I don't care. Like I just want a fun experience, and I'll do it 100 times if I love it. So it really doesn't matter. I know that SeaWorld has attractions that I would enjoy. I've seen them and oh, that looks really cool. But and bear in mind this also, y'all, I know Hunter's a little north of y'all, but I'm much farther away since I don't live there anymore. So if I'm going to Florida, it's okay. How many days am I going to spend at Disney? I need at least a day or two.
Kenny's out of state too.
Kenny's way more north of us. He's in Chicago.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Kenny's a little ways out of town.
All right.
I'm going to be bringing probably the most roller coaster aspect of this show because that's really all I got up here, guys. I don't have. I gotta make special occasions to get down to sunny old Florida. Don't get me wrong, it's my favorite place in the world, but I got nothing but roller coasters up here.
Well, you're in my boat then too, right? Like when you go to Florida, you kind of have to like make decisions. Like, what am I going to add in? And if it comes to SeaWorld, like I guess if I had ended up living there long term, which was a plan at some point, I'm sure I would have gone to SeaWorld, and I probably would have gone to
Busch Gardens
as well. But
yeah,
it just you only have so much time, and I'm definitely for all those 2+ dozen trips, most of those are literally between 2 and 4 days. Like I'm up there. Let's get going, and then we got to go home.
I'm with you.
So
I would actually urge you, Adam, if you ever get the option to. It's a little bit further away, but I would much rather. I think you'd have a better time at Busch Gardens than you would at SeaWorld, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, well, funny enough, Darren had mentioned that Halloween themed laser tag event that they have at Busch Gardens during Halloween.
What was that
time.
called, Travis? That's at Howl-O-Scream, right?
That was
zombie outbreak or something like that, and it fucking sucked this year.
Oh, it was the worst.
Really?
Fucking
horrible.
Now I will say there's a lot of similar attractions actually in Orlando now. Like I think what's that place called? The Artagon Marketplace. They've actually got their own laser tag zombie attraction. So it's something we're seeing more and more of.
That place is so weird.
The Artagon?
Yeah.
Oh, Gods and Monsters is an amazing store.
Well, but it's mostly a flea market, but then there's like Toby Keith's I Love This Bar.
No, that's
now
closed.
You're telling me
that's gone.
Oh,
it's been gone. Yeah.
I think it must have closed everywhere because the one in New Orleans never even quite opened up.
Yeah, the one up here in Chicago closed. I think they were having tax problems.
I love being bankrupt.
Well, don't we all? No, but it's a weird place.
Got to pay off those student loans somehow, right?
But you have like church choirs singing in the middle of it, and then off to the right, one of the vendors was like selling stolen art.
Didn't they have that? Don't they have that indoor kind of climbing jungle gym type thing?
Yes.
Somebody died like last year.
And the best part is, if I remember correctly, it's like right above the food plaza.
Yeah, didn't somebody fall off that and die? If I'm not mistaken.
Somebody
fell. Sure they did.
That's possible. Well, I mean, actually, isn't that for kids? If somebody died, it would have been a child.
I thought they had like harnesses on last time I was
there. It's a big thing. I don't think it's for kids. I'm sure kids can go on it, but it's pretty high up. I think it's suspended from the ceiling. So Adam, what do you think? Will you do like dark roller coasters, like Mummy or Rock and Roller Coaster? Since you can't really see the heights of...
I do dark rides. I do love dark rides. And don't get me wrong, I'll try anything. I think Rip Ride Rocket's the only thing at Universal that I've ever just said, no, not doing it. I once got forced to do Dr. Doom's Fearfall by an old woman. She was it was actually a team member. Well, I was walking. It was a team member. I was walking with some friends, and I was just gonna follow them to the queue, and then I was gonna leave because those rides are literally everything that I'm afraid of. There's no joy to it. It's just literally dropping you. And the team member at the front was this old lady, and she was like, all right, you sit there. And I was like, no, ma'am. She was like, you sit there. I said, well, ma'am, I'm gonna. And she said, you sit there. And
what are you, pussy?
Actually, it was more like she was gonna punch me in the face if I didn't do what she told.
Sit down in the goddamn chair.
So at the age of 22 years old, I got on it. I had my eyes closed the whole time.
It's literally like a 20-second ride. Like, it's amazingly short. So let me ask you real quick, if you don't like those types of attractions, just yes or no, Tower of Terror.
I've done it. I'm not crazy about it, but I've done it. I think it's where, even if you're afraid of heights, I think Tower of Terror is worth it because of the theming. As number one, the theme that has the best theme of any attraction, in my opinion. And I'll even maybe go so far as including Hogwarts and Hogsmeade.
Those are big words, my friend.
It's pretty good though.
There's no denying there. Like, it definitely cracks my top three.
But then the little ride as you're going through the Twilight Zone itself, also, I think that's really, really like worthwhile. So, but I think anybody should do everything once, unless there's just some reason why you just can't handle it.
Yeah. And like I said, this is a good place to express some controversial opinions. Doesn't affect me, so I guess I have a little bit of biased judgment. I'm actually very, very interested to see what they do with the Guardians of the Galaxy overlay out in California. I think it throws their theming completely to the wind that they've done with Hollywood Street. But I think it's going to look like a dumpster fire outside, but I'm very interested to see what they do inside.
Well, it is Southern California, so there probably are people with dumpsters on fire.
Dumpster Mike.
Well, is that a helicopter?
Get to the chopper.
Are they looking for you, Adam?
Yeah. No, they're looking for me. Sorry, guys. I'm recording outside.
You're good.
On the subject of that, I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but I hope to God that that's kept in California and does not come to Florida.
From what I understand with the contracts, which all that's up in the air, because I'm still hearing that attraction's coming to Epcot, taking over Ellen's Energy Adventure. We're not going to see it here.
Yeah, don't fuck with Tower of Terror here. I don't care if it goes in Epcot.
Yeah.
Well, Disneyland's issue is always space, though, whereas Walt Disney World, they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, what is it for, I think, the Indiana Jones adventure? It's like 1.5 miles outside of the park or something like that?
I wouldn't even doubt it.
It's a huge distance. Like, there's a gigantic queue for that attraction.
It's been a while since I've been there. You know what? I'm curious. If you think about the like I said, the little Twilight Zone part where you're sort of going through tunnels and stuff like that. And there's all the lights.
The fifth dimension,
which apparently Travis is traveling into right now. I'm actually going to overlay the Doctor Who theme on top of these segments. So.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Sometimes I don't have time to mow the lawn either, and I gotta multitask.
I'm multitasking, man. Come
on. No, but I was thinking...
That's actually the strength of the shaver that Travis is using to trim his facial hair.
It's still not working. I was thinking about the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and there's the section where they're in the... I guess it's like a watchtower or something like that in the prison... But then it starts floating, and I'm wondering if that's going to be what they do with that section of it, where it's going to be you're in the little, I don't know what to call it, the little tower piece that moves.
Well, they've already come out and they said they're theming the whole thing to the Collector, correct? Which is Benicio del Toro's character.
Yeah, I think they did.
So I imagine that's going to be
like
actually inside. I mean, as far as like the queue and the theming inside, it's going to be the Collector, but I don't know what they're actually going to do for the ride itself. That's going to be interesting.
Has any of this actually been seen, like, in any of the movies? Because I haven't seen any of the movies. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you've seen everything that we've discussed has been in the movies.
Okay, and that's going to about do it, both for the MHG podcast and Grim Grinning Hosts. That is a small part of the pilot. The pilot ended up being a lot longer than we expected, just because we were having a lot of fun. The regular episodes are probably going to be close to an hour, but I think that gives you a little taste of it. Like I said, it's certainly a theme park podcast, but it does have a bit of Metal Hand of God in there, just a bit. So I hope you enjoyed this. The next episode is going to be also a little different, but it's part of it's going to be a clip show, and there will, well, you'll see. There's no point in me talking about this at length, but all right. So thank you, and again, thank you all so much for listening to the Metal Hand of God podcast. And all right, you know what, folks, keep it family.
So metal that we speaking your refrain. That I'm story